Finally, Japan has their own soccer league, and that means they've got to make a video game about it. Actually, at the point of this game's release, there were already 3 J League video games out there, including the Game Boy version of this one. In 1993, Japan was in the grip of soccer mania, and yes, it's soccer in Japan, not football. The Nihon Pro Soccer League, which had been announced a few years earlier, had finally started playing matches on May 15th. Initial response to the league was huge, and there were breathless news reports at the time that soccer would soon overtake baseball as Japan's national pastime. 1/3 of all televisions in Tokyo tuned in to watch the first match. The fact that this period is referred to as the J-League bubble should tell you something about what happened afterwards. But the J-League is still around and has expanded quite a bit since those days. J-League Fighting Soccer contains all 10 teams from that initial season, plus their original starting lineups. Though as far as I can tell, they don't have any stats. Or at least none that I could find. There are 4 different game modes available here. In test play, you can make your own team, and then try it out against other teams. You populate your team with the real players selected from any team in the league. J-League Fighting Soccer has an option to trade players around, and all you do is select who you want to get rid of and select who you want in that place instead, and that's all there is to it. There's no negotiations or chance of refusal. Of course, since all of the players are identical, it doesn't really matter. The team that you create in test play can be saved to the Battle Box, IGS's external memory storage device that had a whopping 512 bytes of non-volatile RAM. Versus play is just a single match and can be 1 or 2 player, while tournament mode lets you play out the championship series. Finally, in league play, you take on every other team in the league, and then the top performers take part in the tournament. On the field, J-League Fighting Soccer is a real mixed bag. It looks decent enough as a soccer game. The field is scaled down to a point where you have decent action on the Famicom. But then you hit the road bump that's the control scheme. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see a set of icons. Those tell you the action that you'll currently take if you hit the A button. And you cycle through those actions by pressing B. Not all actions are available all the time. The foot followed by arrows is a kick. And while you're running on the field with possession of the ball, you can have 1 or 2 arrows to indicate how strong you're going to kick it. But if play halted and you're getting the ball back in, then you can increase it to 3 arrows. You can only move and steer the ball in 8 directions, and you can't target other players for passing, so it actually kind of simplifies how the game works a bit. You just line yourself up, choose the appropriate strength, and hit A. If you have the ball and the icons just show 2 players, then you're dribbling the ball. Hitting A won't do anything, but while you're doing this, it's harder for the opponents to steal the ball. If you don't have the ball, then the shoe and the arrow will make you slide, while adding a player on the end means you actually want to intentionally foul someone. And if you just have players down there, then you're going to run faster, but you can't do anything to intercept someone. Now I know that all sounded really confusing, but in play, it works okay. Or at least I didn't have any trouble cycling through commands and using the appropriate thing at the right time. You don't have any way to select which player you're controlling. If they have the ball, you'll be controlling them, but otherwise the game has a bad tendency to hop your control from player to player. And then there's the worst thing about J-League Fighting Soccer. The AI is terrible. Especially the goaltending AI, but all of it plays incredibly badly. Doing a zigzag pattern to avoid their sliding kicks and keep control of the ball is really easy. And if you kick the ball at a 45-degree angle toward the goal, it's almost sure to go in. It is trivially easy to win matches here. You've got plenty of visual cues for exactly how you need to line up a shot, and it's trivial to steal the ball from the opposing team and run it all the way up the field. Once you have the basics of how to play down, it's pretty much impossible for a game to not be a blowout. And since it's not like you have control over the goalie, this problem persists even if you play with another person. Naturally, as a sports game, there's nobody that remembers this in Japan. I don't think I'm going to be the most watched J-League Fighting Soccer video on YouTube, but I'll definitely be number 2. I was willing to give J League Fighting Soccer a fighting chance. I could put up with the weird control scheme, but the brain-dead AI sucks all the fun out of this one, and you won't even be able to get any enjoyment out of it by playing with a friend. I don't think it's the worst soccer game on the Famicom, but it might be the second worst.